There's so much mystery regarding grading woods, especially Mastergrade, and today we're going to get to the bottom of it with a series of experiments. We're going to do some science. So firstly, what is wood grading? Wood grading is how we categorize the quality of a wood set. Typically, we see 4 or 5 grades or bands from suppliers, which are A, AA, AAA, Master grade, and sometimes exhibition grade, Master Plus, or collector grade, or something like that. The thing is, everyone grades their wood differently. Most suppliers will rate their wood based on their visual characteristics. But the big question, do these traits correlate to the quality of the sound or produce in a finished guitar? Today, we're going to find out, so stick around. All right, so we have 5 pieces of Alpine spruce from one supplier. We've got an A grade, AA, AAA, Master grade, and Master Plus, or collector's grade. So let's have a look. First up is our A board. This is a very affordable piece of wood. As you can see, it's got quite uneven, wide grain. The color is not perfectly even. There's a little bit of run out, but you know, for the money, can't go wrong. Next up, we have the AA, which is slightly tighter grain. The grain is slightly more straight, but very, very similar to the previous A grade board. Next up is the AAA. This is a big step up in my opinion. This is, I think this board cost me about 90 euros, and I think it's really, really good value. Has notably straighter grain, way less run out, and the color is nice and even too. Moving on to the Master grade. This is really beautiful, no question. There's little to no run out whatsoever. The grain is arrow straight and it has great color. So finally, we have the Master Plus, or the collector's grade, and this really is as good as it gets. And you would expect as much because this top cost 10 times what the A grade top cost. It is really gorgeous. Grain density is beautiful. There's figure in there. The medullary rate is perfect. It really doesn't get any better than this. So yeah, if I was grading these soundboards on looks alone, I would definitely agree with the supplier's designations. But which one performs the best? Before we get into the numbers of it all, let's do a little blind test, shall we? All right, so my beautiful assistant here, Mr. William, has mixed up these boards, numbered them from 1 to 5, and I'm going to order them from best to worst based on tapping and flexing. Get ready in the comments to write your order too if you want to test out your Lutherie prowess. No cheating. Wow. Wow, okay. So I feel like we need some like elevator music or something to come on while I'm doing this. Lexi. Woo! Sounds pretty good, but it's really floppy. Feels a bit stiffer. Sounds better. Leave that one there. Feels a bit floppier, a bit stiffer across the grain. So hard to put this one here. Let's roast it. That one there. God, it's amazing how similar they sound. I feel like this is the stiffest. It's quite floppy across the grain. Feels quite light too. doing it very quickly, but I think I'm gonna go with that order. I don't know. Okay, so this is really interesting. Just looking at these, I can't see the grading, but it's kind of gone in the opposite direction to what I might have expected. So in the board I would use last is the Master Plus. Can you, can you believe it? All right, so in last place is the Master Plus. Then we have the AAA. Then we have the Master. Then we have the AA. Single A is in first place for me. Wow. Wow. I agreed with the visual grading, but from a sonic and flexing perspective, stiffness, I reverse ordered them. We need to go a little bit deeper. Let's dive into the numbers. I'm going to show you how to assess the properties of the boards a little bit more scientifically. All right, so long story short, we want our soundboards to be light and stiff. Light or less massive, so it takes less energy to get the board moving, and stiff so we can take the board down in thickness, further reducing its mass while maintaining its structural integrity. And I have to say, this is largely why I was drawn to these boards. They were very light and very stiff. At a basic level, we can assess stiffness to weight ratio by measuring the density and the deflection. So let's do that with this A board, and we'll compare results at the end. Okay, so the way that we calculate the density, super simple, is to divide the mass by the volume. The way we get the volume is to multiply the length by the width by the thickness. I've gone ahead and cut all of these boards to the same dimension, which is 545 long, 210 wide, and 4mm thickness. So our calculation is going to be 0.545 by 0.21 by 0.004, which gives us a volume of 0.004578 meters cubed. Seems like mass has gone a little off here, but I promise you it hasn't. Next, we want to take the mass, which comes out at 184 grams. So in kilograms, that's 0.184. So our final calculation for the density is 0.184 divided by 0.004578, which gives us a density of 401.92 kilograms per cubic meter. And that is maths. All right, now for deflection. Deflection is a degree to which a structure is displaced under load, which in layman's terms means how much the wood will bend when we put a weight on it. So it's going to give us an idea of how stiff each piece of wood is, and as we say for a soundboard, the stiffer the better, and that applies to many things in life. So we've made this glorious contraption here. We're going to raise our piece of wood up on both ends. We're going to take our dial indicator. We're going to take our 1 kilogram weight, place that in the middle, and we can see that the board is deflecting by 2 millimeters. So for this A-grade soundboard, we have a density of 401.92 kilograms per cubic meter with a deflection of 2 millimeters. And you can do these tests really quickly and easily on your soundboards at home to get a good idea of how they'll perform. But before comparing the results in full, I want to do one more test to take the experiment even further and get even more delicious data. This next test is taken from this outstanding book, Mastering the Sound of an Acoustic Guitar by Giuliano, Nicoletti. Get this book, links in the description, it's a game changer. The book comes with an accompanying spreadsheet, which is going to help us with our calculations. So we're going to use some frequency spectrum analysis software to measure how these soundboards are responding. Before we get into the experiment, we're going to talk quickly about nodes and modes. We're going to use the example of a 12th fret harmonic on the guitar. When you play the 12th fret harmonic, you're going to be isolating the node point on the string so that the overtone becomes primarily audible. What you're hearing when you hit that 12th fret harmonic is the second mode of the string. And furthermore, playing the harmonic as opposed to fretting the note at the 12th fret means that you're isolating the mode without interfering with the vibration of the string as a whole. The opposite of a node is the antinode. It's the point at which the sound wave, or in this case, the oscillation of the string, is at its peak. And the node is where it's at its lowest. So when we do the tap test, we're going to hold the piece of wood from a node point, and to produce the different vibrational modes, we're going to strike or tap or hit the piece of wood at an antinode point. Think of it like we're playing different harmonics on a guitar string. With Giuliano's experiments, we're going to analyze the 3 vibrational modes: the long bending mode across the length of the board, the cross bending mode across the board, and the diagonal mode from corner to corner. Thankfully, using Giuliano's spreadsheet, it gives us a template as to where the approximate location of the nodes and antinodes are going to be, so we know where to hold and where to strike. Using the FFT software, we're going to take the frequencies produced and plug those into the spreadsheet, which is going to calculate, it's all magic, it's not magic, it's maths. It's going to calculate the modulator elasticity, which is a figure that describes how elastic the boards are, and it'll also, as if that wasn't enough, it'll give us a sound radiation coefficient. I know. So long story short, the higher that number is, the better, as it means it takes less energy to excite the monopole of the soundboard, which is the key frequency in determining the character of the guitar's voice. The software is free, the mic I got from eBay. They are both referenced in the book, so don't panic. First up, we're going to measure our long bending mode. I'm just going to do one of these measurements just to show you quickly. We're going to hit record. I'm going to tap here. So you can see pretty quickly that we get a peak. So I'm going to take that 75 Hertz. I'm going to plug that into the column for the long bending mode. And I'm going to go through all of these boards. I'm going to measure them in 3 different locations. I'm going to put all that data into the spreadsheet. And why don't I just see you at the end? Because it's going to be pretty dull to watch. So that is it. The results are in. And we're going to start with the densities, from most dense to the least dense. And remember that generally speaking, the least dense is the better. Now, 5th place, it's our A-top, it's the most dense. Then it's our AA, then it's our AAA, then it's our Mastergrade, and then it's the collector's grade, which is the perfect result, really. It's pleasing to see that the density, which is such a key metric, correlates to the supplier's grading. For the deflection and the elasticity, again, the stiffer the better. We have, in first place, the most stiff is the A grade. Then in second place, it is the Master grade and the AA. Third place is the Master Plus. And in 4th place, bringing up the rear, is the AAA. So this is the really interesting bit. We can see that the more dense woods appear to be the stiffest, with the exception of the Master grade tops, which sneak into 2nd place and 3rd place. But wait! While the test for deflection gives us a rough idea of how stiff a board is, the way we measure for modulus of elasticity using frequency analysis is far more accurate. If we look closely at our results for modulus of elasticity, we can see this clear trend. A having a long modulus of 11.1 gigapascals, AA is 10.8, AAA is 9.1, Master grade is 9.2, and Master Plus has a long modulus of 8.8. So finally, the sound radiation coefficient score. They all scored 13. They all scored exactly the same. So at the end of all of that, which is the best and which would I choose? What have we learned? It would appear that from this selection of 5 tops, the AAA is hitting the sweet spot. It's stiff without being too dense, it's got a good sound radiation coefficient, it's great value for money, and it looks awesome too. For this sample of 5, it would seem that Master grade is largely an aesthetic metric. That being said, I've just tested another board from a different supplier. This is a Master grade board, and it blows these boards out of the water, both in terms of aesthetics and performance. So it just goes to show you that it's who's grading the wood and which parameters they're assessing is really what matters. Empirical data is important, measuring is important, but so is the age-old practice of the traditional assessment using intuition and experience. When we tap a piece of wood and listen, we're measuring the vibrational modes. When we flex a piece of wood, we're assessing its density and its elasticity. But by doing the scientific and the intuitive work in tandem, objective and subjective assessments will converge. So what is Mastergrade? To some it's just a pretty face, but to me it needs the numbers to back it up.